Alright guys, we are going to now look at the practice for Tuesday, dimensional analysis that are two-step. There will be a few on here that are slightly more than two-step, and that's fine. We'll get to all that towards the end. Some challenge problems, if you will. Alright, so let's take a look at this first one. We want to figure out how many quarts there are in 4 gallons. Alright, so immediately what I want to look for is if there is anything that will take me from gallons straight to quarts. So I go to my sheet here, and I have that. I have a single conversion, 4 quarts is 1 gallon, that I can use. So 1 gallon in going to quarts, there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Remember, the 4 is stuck to the quarts in that conversion, and the 1 is stuck to the gallons. Alright, now that I have the units that I want, gallons cancels with gallons. Okay, I've got 4 times 4, I get 16 quarts over 1, so that ends up being 16 quarts. Okay, pretty easy. Now take a look at this next one. This one is not as easy. I need to go from tons to ounces. Now when I look over here, I'm going to look for tons and ounces here. So I'm looking, and all these, you can these are all distance. Then we start to get to measurements. Here we go. Alright, 4 quarts is a gallon, pints, quarts, cups, pints, ounces. Ooh, there's ounces. Ounces and cups. Then I have ounces and pounds, and then I have pounds and tons. Now, I started with tons, right? I started with 0.25 tons. So I'm going to have to use some conversion that involves tons. I've got to get rid of tons, so I'm going to put tons on the bottom. But I need to do something that involves tons. The only one I have on this sheet is this. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. But once I convert it to pounds, I can then use the conversion right above it to go from pounds to ounces, which is what I finally want. That's the final solution. So this is what they call a two-step problem. We have to do 2 conversions instead of 1. So we start by going from 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. Okay, and what that does is it gets rid of tons for me. But now my units are pounds. Well, I don't want pounds, I want ounces. So I know that 1 pound, again, top to bottom can cancel. So pounds cancels pounds. And there are 16 ounces. I need to make sure I use the correct conversion. Those are close together, so don't screw up and put 8 instead of 16, because the 16 ounces goes with 1 pound. Okay? And that's the one I need because I need to get rid of pounds. So then I need to multiply that. So on my calculator, I got 0.25 times 2,000 times 16, which is 8,000. 8,000 over 1 ounces. And when we clean that up, again, it's over 1 because on the bottom we're doing 1 times 1. We multiply the top together, we multiply the bottom together, and then we can divide whatever we get. So 8,000 divided by 1 is just 8,000. So that's 8,000 ounces. Okay, seconds, changing hours into seconds. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't automatically off the top of my head know how many seconds there are in an hour. Some people might actually know that. I know I could figure it out pretty quickly, but off the top of my head, I don't know it. What do I know about hours, though? And I'm going to a smaller unit, so I want to work my way down. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of hours. And what do I know about hours? I know that in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. Okay? Notice, I did that without going to the conversion chart. Now, if I needed to go to the conversion chart, I absolutely could. The time stuff is down here at the bottom. But that's one that I just know in my head. I know there's 60 minutes in an hour. And then that gets me to minutes. And I know that in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. That cancels out the minutes. And now, I have the units that I want, which means I can stop. And all I have to do now is multiply the top and multiply the bottom and go from there. Okay, so what I have is 2.5 times 60 times 60. 9,000. So 9,000 on the top, and on the bottom 1 times 1, so it's 1, and that is seconds. Okay, so 9,000 seconds is our answer there. Alright, now we want to go from milligrams, or excuse me, from centigrams to milligrams. Okay? Alright, so I don't know off the top of my head this conversion. Okay? If you remember some stuff about milli and centi and that kind of stuff, you might. But if I look over here, I have centi here, and I have milli here. And if I look, each of them are equal to 1 ml or G. In this case, since we're talking about grams, we're going to be dealing with G. So 100 centigrams is 1 gram, and 1,000 milligrams is 1 gram. So if I could take centigrams and convert them into grams, then I could take those grams and go to milligrams. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like. We're going to use this conversion right here. There are 100 centigrams in 1 gram, and then I need to get rid of grams, so grams goes to the bottom, and I want to go to milligrams, and I've got that good conversion right here that I can use. There are 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. So this time I'm going to do 458 times 1,000, so that's 458,000 divided by 100. Okay, when I clean that up, if I remember how to divide by 100, I end up with 4,580 milligrams. Of course, you can use a calculator for all of that. That's no problem. Okay, but there you go. All right, yards to inches. If I look on here, got to find yards. The only thing on here that I can convert yards to is feet. But I want inches, so I need to now look for a conversion that goes from feet to inches. So 1 foot is 12 inches. So those are the two that I want to use right there, those two, for this next problem. So in 1 yard, there are 3 feet. Okay? And in 1 foot, there are 12 inches. Okay? So I'm doing 3 times 10 times 12. So 3 times 10 times 12, that's 360 over 1, which is 360 inches. Okay? Alright, how many cups are in 3 quarts? So again, how do we set this up? How many cups are in 3 quarts? So the first thing I need to figure out is how to get rid of quarts. What can I change quarts into? If I look at my chart here, only place I see, only thing I can see and get rid of quarts is pints. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. 1 quart, remember a quart's got to go on the bottom because quarts are on the top, is 2 pints. Okay, but I don't want pints, I want cups, so I got to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to look at pints. Look around. So I don't want to go back to quarts, so that one doesn't make any sense. I want to go to cups, so this one makes a lot of sense. Okay, we got to use the one that helps us get to where we want to go. So 1 pint is 2 cups. All right, and now that my units are correct, I stop. I don't need to do any more conversions because I have the units that I want. Now all I got to do is go through and multiply. So 3 times 2 times 2, that's 3 times 4, which is 12. Okay, so that is 12 cups. All right, how many miles is one? Oh, goodness, what number is this? 1,024,568 inches. All right. So we need to get rid of inches. So I go to my chart. I say, okay, what can I use to get rid of inches? All right, I can change them to feet. Good. All right, so there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Again, the 12 inches had to go on bottom because inches needed to cancel out with inches. Now I have feet. All right, now feet, I got 2 options. I can go from feet to yards, or I can go from feet to miles. Which one makes more sense? Well, where do I want to end up? I want to end up at miles. So obviously, the top one makes the most sense because I can go from feet to miles in 1 step. Okay? All right, so what do I know? There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Feet cancels with feet, and there we go. That's our problem. Now, I have the units I want, so now multiply across the top, which is going to be 1,024,568 divided by, I need to figure out what 12 times 5,280 is, which is 63,360. And then those look like really awful numbers, but guys, just type them in. Be careful. Don't make a careless mistake. And then just divide. So that number divided by 63, whoops, I almost made a mistake, 360. And we get 16.17. So it is 16.17 miles. Right? So the distance from Sylvania to Newington is roughly 1,024,568 inches because it's about 15 miles from Sylvania to Newington. So if you live in Newington, there you go. Now you can tell people how many inches away from Sylvania you live. Not that you would want to ever do that. Alright, how many kilometers is equal to 85,547 centimeters? So how many kilometers, and this is actually going to be very similar to the previous problem, and what I mean by that is centimeters are a very small unit of measurement, just like inches, and kilometers is a very large unit of measurement, just like miles. So we're expecting to go from a big number to a small number. Okay? And I did not put my CM right there, which I should have. Sorry about that. Alright, so what can I do? I at centi, and I want to get to kilo. So I'm going to do centi to the regular units, right? Which in this case is meters, right? And then I'm going to go from meters to kilometers. Alright, so let's talk about it. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Okay? Again, I got that from here. 100 centimeters is 1 meter. And I needed to put centi on the bottom because I had centi on the top. Now I need to put meters on the bottom. And I want to go, again, to kilometers. So km. Okay, so I'll look up here. There are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. Okay? So I end up with 85,547 divided by 100 times 1,000 is 100,000. Okay? We're going to divide this out. Again, big numbers, don't worry. Calculator can handle all that. So 85,547 divided by, and we get 0.85 or we'll round that to 0.86. So a little less than a kilometer, 0.86 of 1 kilometer. Okay? Alright, here we go. How many minutes are in 2 days for number 9? How many minutes is equal to 2 days? Again, time conversions are ones that I don't really need Ms. Roundtree's chart for, even though they're on here. Okay, I just know the time stuff well enough that I can probably get away without even looking at it. And ideally, that's what we want to do. We want to get away from needing this formula, all these different conversion pages, because the milestone may or may not give you some of those conversions. Okay, especially these easy ones like minutes and day, especially time stuff. They may not give you a lot of that. Alright, so what do we know? We know that in 1 day, and again, we're going to small units here, so I don't want to be going to weeks or years. I want to go the other direction. I want to get smaller. So I know that 1 day is 24 hours. Okay? 1 day consists of 24 hours. That's pretty easy. And then I need to get rid of hours, right? So I know 1 hour is 60 minutes. So I'm working towards the units that I want. And once I get to the units that I want, I can stop. So I have 2 times 24 times 60. Okay? 2 times 24 times 60, which is 2,880. So that's 2,880 over 1. Okay? 2,880 minutes, because anything divided by 1 is just that number. Alright, good deal. Number 10. How many pints would be needed to hold 2,825 ounces of water? So how many pints is going to be equal to 2,825 ounces of water? Okay? So what do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of ounces. So I go ahead to my chart here. I got two options: ounces to pounds or ounces to cups. Well, how do I determine? Where do I want to end up? I want to end up at pints. So look at what you're changing to. If I change ounces to pounds, is there anything on here that changes pounds to pints? No, there's not. There is, however, ounces to cups and then cups to pints. So that step, two-step process, is how we can get where we want to go. Alright, so I need to get rid of ounces. So how many ounces is in 1 cup? So I go back and look. There are 8 ounces in 1 cup. So 8 ounces, 1 cup. Put the 1 there. 1 cup. Okay? So that takes care of the ounces. Now I need to get rid of cups. So what do I know about cups? And I want to change them to pints because I know I have a conversion that I can use to do that. It's right here. There are 2 cups for every 1 pint. So 2 cups for every 1 pint. And now I have the units that I want, which are pints. So I can now do my multiplication and division. Multiply across the top is going to be 2,825 divided by 8 times 2, which is 16. Alright, so we're going to do 2,825 divided by 16. And we get 176.56. So 176 and a little over a half of another one, pints. Okay? These have all been 2 steps. There are 2 more examples. If you'll notice, these both say challenge. The reason these say challenge, well, you'll see. So let's see if we can figure out how many minutes are in a year. So 1 year goes by, how many minutes have passed? Okay? So I'm going smaller, so I need to work my way down. So what can I change years to that makes a lot of sense? Some people might say weeks, some people might say days. I'm going to go with days because I think I know that one, right? In 1 year, how many days go by? Right? If you need it, you can look here, you have it on here. 365. We're not going to count leap year. 365 days in a normal year. Okay? And then that's going to get rid of years for me. But that doesn't get me where I want to go. I got to keep going. So what do I know? In 1 day, there are 24 hours. I'm still not where I want to go, but I'm going in the right direction. Right? I'm now down to hours. I was at years. I'm trying to get to minutes. So I'm getting smaller each time I go. I just need to keep going, keep this pattern up. And I know that in 1 hour, and again, I'm doing top to bottom to cancel out the units. I know that in 1 hour there are 60 minutes. Well, now I have minutes where I want it, and that's what I'm trying to get to. So all I have to do now is multiply. So I'm going to go 365 times 24 times 60. And we get 525,600. And nobody will catch this reference because it's so old, but if you've ever seen the movie Rent, you'll know that there are 525,600 minutes in a year. They wrote a whole song about that. Alright, the last challenge problem, we're going to go from gallons or cups to gallons. Alright, so I'm going from a small unit, a cup, to a gallon, which is much larger. Okay, so we need conversions that will help us do that. So let's look. Cups to pints. Then I could go, let's see, pints to quarts, and then quarts to gallons. So this is a 3-step, which is why these are challenging. These are challenge problems. Alright, so what do I know? I know that there are 2 cups. Again, cups has to go on the bottom because it's got to cancel out in 1 pint. Okay, I know that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. Again, where am I getting these from? I'm getting them from Miss Roundtree's chart. There are 2 cups in 1 pint, there are 2 pints in 1 quart, and there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So that tells me my next step. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Again, you must keep these numbers together. Okay? kind of like the quarters and dollars thing. There's 4 quarters in a dollar. If I screw that up, if I flip that around and say there are $4 in a quarter, that does not make any sense. Okay? It's no longer equal. So you have to keep the correct number with the units for each conversion or each stack. Okay? So now I have quarts canceled out, and I'm now at gallons, which is what I want. So the final thing that I need to do here is multiply across the top, which is 126, because I'm multiplying everything by 1 times this initial 126. And on the bottom, I have 2 times 2 times 4, which is 16. And then we divide that out. 126 divided by 16. 7.875. Normally I say round to 1 or 2 decimal places, but since this one only goes to 3 and then it cuts off, I'll put the whole thing. So that is 7.875 gallons. I would not count it wrong if you put 7.88, or probably would even give you credit if you did 7.9. Okay, but generally, I generally don't round unless it goes beyond 3 decimal places. Okay, all right. Those are done for you. Good luck with the homework, and we'll move on to double stacks when you get back, or maybe Wednesday. We'll see.